My name's Randy Tyree. I'm former mayor, and Kyle and I had a really interesting political history because in 1975, when I'd made a decision to challenge him, prior to that time, I had served as police commissioner for the city of Knoxville. That was under Mayor Leonard Rogers. Well, the outcome of that was that I got caught up in the campaign with Mayor Rogers and Mayor Testerman in the 1971 campaign, and a lot of Kyle's friends in the campaign. It was a pretty heated campaign between he and Mayor Rogers, and there was a lot of political people. I'm of the Democratic persuasion, and a lot of the Republican folks that it was influential with Kyle said, the first thing you ought to do is fire Tyree. So Kyle gave me consideration as to whether or not I ought to stay on, and then he fired me. So it worked out from the day one. We sort of had a respectful but a difference of opinion as relates to politics per se, even though that it's nonpartisan in nature. There was obviously division of Democrats and Republicans, but in the voting patterns. And Kyle and I laughed about this later on, but that election in 1975 still holds the record for voter turnout in the city of Knoxville. There was 65% of the registered voters voted in that election. Now you're fortunate if you get 12 or 15%. But what Kyle and I would laugh about, it's say when the issue came up at all, Kyle, in his own inimitable way, would say, well, I don't know what the heck, or sometimes he wouldn't say heck, but I don't know what the heck that we did to people, but at least we made them get off their butts and go vote. So his sense of humor, his commitment to the community, there was a level of respect, and that election in '75, I've never said anything about that except I had the luck of the draw, because there was every reason with Kyle's record and that I should not have been able to win. But there was a lot of controversy because Kyle was an agent of change. And during his tenure, for the benefit of the city, he got liquor by the drink. He stood the fight against the labor interest in the community, and all those kinds of things. For example, on the liquor by the drink, which he was supportive of, he did it because of the tax revenues. But his sense of humor would kick in because he said during the campaign, he says, I don't know, this was before he ran for a second term. He says, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get elected a second term or not, because he says, I've got both the preachers and the bootleggers in opposition to me. So his whole attitude was, as Admiral Farragut says, damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. And the one other thing that I remember so well, the city had a school system, and we were in Kyle's second term. There had been all sorts of financial problems, professional problems, etc., because we had a county system and a city system. And Kyle, again, in his inimitable way, when in his second term, he basically got the business community together, and he said, folks, this community is not doing fair by public education. Even though he'd been out of the private school section, he still had a commitment to public education. And he says, I tell you what's going to happen. He said, in my first budget, if we're still in the school system, he says taxes are going to go up $1 or more on the property tax. That's the only way we're going to be able to even come close to funding the city school system. Well, with that era coming out of the quiver, the business community really got behind the consolidated school system. And by referendum vote, I guess it was 1985, the 84, 85, by referendum vote, the city voters said, we want out of the school business, we want the county to take it over. And as they say, the rest of the story is that we had one of the top-notch school systems in the state of Tennessee today. And I personally credit Kyle to a great extent with having the political courage to step out there and take on another issue, take on the issue like he did. Now, at that time, we didn't have term limits. So Kyle could have very easily, in his second term, ran for 3 terms, but he chose to do those things, in my opinion, needed to be done for the community, and do it with, again, damn the political torpedoes, full steam ahead. There are so many stories that I could relate. Don't want to hog the video, but I am a better person for having challenged Kyle successfully. I'm a better person for having known him for 30 plus years. I have watched his kids grow up, and in the memorial today, there's only one word to describe it, and that's classy.